just see the Sivir Yuumi being picked up on the other side. And I think that kind of style does fit up very well with what, V5 want to go for. You've already got the Taliyah. We've seen Rookie. It's so funny to me as well because Rookie is that kind of guy where every other region or every other team, I feel like outside of our top 4, plays Taliyah, and it's just like, they're fine, but it's just not that big of a deal. And then you see Rookie or Xiaohu or Knight on it, and it just looks absolutely, completely broken. But there's the combination I was just talking about. It is just the answer you cannot give over the Yuumi and the Zeri. It's just too powerful.
Yeah, the big thing about taking this lane is you can just perma push in pretty much any Zeri lane there is and make it so, sure, maybe you're not finding like 2v2 kills or anything aggressive, but it's just a farm fest where Zeri will never have the ability to move. So we'll see if Ultra Prime's bot lane going to be able to do anything about it, but feels like enabling your top half of the map to have something strong for Zoom, something strong for Cryin, and look for skirmishing there might need to be the play when this bot lane is just going to be a little bit of a farm fest.
Yeah, and we are starting to see a little bit of a shift as well. We talked about the changes a little bit. Obviously, we were the first region to move on to 12-14. We have seen a couple of days now from Wednesday to now about what the meta is kind of moving for. We are starting to see teams adapt to those enchanters, to those more utility-based supports. And I wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit as to why. Why are we seeing that? Why is the shift now compared to 12-13?
I feel like the big shift is just these laners that pairs so well with the Yuumi and like the power of Yuumi, because enchanters coming into 12-14 actually been hit. Like all enchanter items losing like ratios on their ability to shield and heal allies. And I feel like the only time we really see enchanters outside of against Yuumi is when someone wants to pick like a set bot lane, right? Like a Lucian Nami duo coming on in. So definitely a lot of it right now in my mind centering around the Yuumi. We've had tons of bans coming into the second phase, and I'm kind of surprised if Ultra Prime don't decide to lock in the Ahri. LeBlanc being on the table as well is something that Cryin has played quite a bit, but I'd like if they leaned into one of these mid laners that not only have the ability to roam like a Ryze, but also present kill pressure like an Ahri or LeBlanc. But Ashin, we don't always get what we want in life.
No, you don't get anything, all right? Life's tough and unfair. Get over it, all right, Lyric? You gotta just move on. We got Ryze. He's back in the meta. And as much as so many things change, they always stay the same, and we get Ryze coming back in. I will say it does give that global to the side of Cryin. Talked about how he's moved away from that stigma, but at the same time, he is still a good roaming mid laner who can affect the side lanes. If he can work with Hacker on this Wukong to get maybe the Zeri going, or depending on what they choose for Zoom up on that top side, this can be a very, very potent combination. But I will say V5 have built themselves an absolutely terrifying teamfight composition. Great front to back, great engage, and just great ways of disrupting what Ultra Prime want to go for. And Ultra Prime has said, cool, we're going to step to you, toe to toe. This dance, we know how to do it.
Yeah, I actually really like V5 going for that Sejuani in the sense of Gwen's already banned, and the only other, like, true blind pick top laner, right, is typically that Gnar, which Sejuani does well into. So V5 take that. They say, hey, if you want to go for this, we're just going to gank and dive you over and over again, and forces Zoom to go towards the Ornn, which also can lose out trades early against the Sejuani. But ultimately, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Both compositions, very similar. Both can front-to-back teamfight. Both have the ability to move post-6 with the global ultimates coming out from their mid laners. And I think this one's going to be very scrappy, a lot of movement, but still going to be ultimately down to those skirmishes around things like Dragon and Rift Herald.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the big 5v5s, of course, with the changes, of course, to Rift Herald and Dragons. We, ourselves, every other bloody region has been talking about these so much. They are incredibly important, but they have just moved everything to those big 5v5s. So we don't see as much action early as such in the first 5-6 minutes, but we definitely see it ramp up towards that 15 to 20 minute mark. That's when teams start to feel the pressure coming down. You can't make as many as effective trades because Dragons and Rift Herald in general are just too damn powerful.
Yeah, and when we have the strength of those objectives, when we have two compositions that are very similar in terms of what they want to do, I'm looking at things like V5 being heavier indexed into some stronger early skirmishing with the Xin Zhao, with the Sejuani, with Cryin on bot lane, to where up, if the game can go the distance, when you have AoE CC like Wukong and Ornn, and then a Zeri with the Lulu, I think that's when Ultra Prime should be able to skirt out ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a Zeri. How many pentakills have we gotten with Zeri in the last few weeks? It's been kind of across every region. It's been pentakills across the board. But Oh, we'll see how they're able to kind of do for it. And again, I still feel like Elk is that kind of carry that has always been, has the ceiling to be able to step up when needed most. And again, we'll see what they want to go for. The expectations is V5 should be comfortable, but let's see if it is as comfortable as they want it to be, because Ultra Prime, they are still a fantastic team. They are still a team that you need to fear coming into this game. But we're going to wait no more. No more theories, no more hypothesizing, Lyric. We're jumping in onto the Rift. Talked about those early skirmishes. We're going to see now where the junglers start and where they want to prioritize those pressure points.
I think for Xiaolongbao, I'm looking at him playing towards his top side, playing around mid lane, playing around top is maybe going to get a skirm. Nope. Disappointed, baited once again. Is she
game over? Your win conditions are incorrect.
Yay!
Yes, I love this new meta of people holding hands and roaming in the jungle. That's my favorite new thing.
No, like, I'm waiting for the betrayal. It happened once, the split between top laners. I'm depressed that I can't remember who it was. But I love when you do it, and then one of you just autos the other at the last second and walks away.
I think it was Wayward. I think it was Wayward and someone, I believe. And someone betrayed Wayward. I think that's how it went down.
Yeah.
That feels correct in my head.
To be fair, Wayward has been a part of like 70% of those dances that we've seen. So that's a pretty good guess. But going back to, you hitting on junglers earlier and seeing where they're going to path, a little bit surprised, XLB actually the one heading down towards that bot side, and Hacker going up towards top. Maybe just wanted to play around your prio, try and get those guaranteed scuttles that can come through. But I think it could be quite hard to find any kills in that bot side when you don't have any engage to be able to start anything off. We can already see the inklings of what we predicted, right? Photic and ppgod getting the early push down in that bot side.
Yeah, it's actually interesting as well. We actually saw the permafrost start there for Rich to help out Xiaolongbao in the jungle to get a better kind of clear or something like that. So he's not starting off with the Winter's Wrath. He's not going with the W start. He went with the E. So very curious to see how you kind of, knowing that he's into an Ornn, there is no kill pressure really on either side. But you can see already in the CS numbers, the Ornn does have push because your E is a passive. It's not really something that you can kind of push with.
Especially when you factor in, that ability start and then starting on buff as compared to the Ornn who just got the start on the wave, right? So V5 doing that consciously, knowing the fact that Xiaolongbao's pathing down towards that bot side. You're right. Zoom so far, bring it to Rich, and we already hit on. I feel like one of the biggest weaknesses of V5 in recent series has been Rich has been struggling heavily in some of these 1v1s in topside. And when Zoom's finding these heavy trades, it opens up for what Hacker's doing now. When Rich is this low, it can open up dive opportunities.
Hacker or Slacker, that's what we've been kind of dubbing him right now, and the wave will crash the next time around. Rich is very, very low. He does not have a flash. Remember, he does have an ignite, but the knockup does not land, but it does not matter. And it just stems from that early start we talked about, going with the buff start, not getting the push priority, and just not having an ability to help you with the wave.
No, kind of disrespectful from Rich. We obviously didn't have the Observer hovering over the wave, but by the time we got there, Rich already chunked out quite low. Means he was probably trying to contest the wave level 1, level 2 when he got back in, and giving Zoom those opportunities. So far, Ultra Prime already off to a really good start when we said that V5 probably want to be the one looking for these early advantages. Xiaolongbao going to be able to get some vision, but you definitely don't have the ability to look to dive Elk and Miaoniu in this lane, especially since Photic and ppgod not really having a great way to get a lot of heavy damage off the sticks.
That's the thing as well. You're against a Lulu and a Zeri. Like, if the Zeri gets near a wall, she's out. You're just nothing you can do there, and you probably already have to commit splashes and such to try and make that one work. And great for Hacker as well. He's on a Wukong, which can do exceptionally well with those early kills. And you talked about how V5 will have the early skirmishing power, but that power only really comes post level 6 when you have the Crescent Guard, when you have the Weaver's Wall to be able to move yourself around the map. And Ultra Prime kind of noticing a moment where they had the advantage and just capitalizing very, very smartly.
Yeah, for the side of V5, I think the one thing they do have is, right, having the double melee topside that can set up for the Sejuani quite well. Sure, you're into an Ornn, but those first few levels is typically when you can look to set him behind before he starts getting some resistances under his belt, and he just becomes too hard to gank, too hard to dive, and you need to look to play around the opposite side of the map. But Xiaolongbao actually looks much more concerned on making sure his bot lane can keep up prio and just keep a strong side of the map that he's constantly playing down towards his bot side. Looks like we might have pings into the enemy jungle now to change things up, and that's what I want, Sheen. I want things to change up. I want a different flavor. I want some violence.
What did we talk about? You don't always get what you want, all right, Lyric? You ain't.
I feel like we never
didn't learn. No, we never get what we want. But that's why we love the LPL. It's so unbelievably inconsistent.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous, yeah, a positive.
Oh, here we go, Sheen.
Yeah, we're looking to see Cryin as we're going to see Xiaolong Bao getting jumped on, but the flick back is good, but only onto Hacker. Cryin with a good flash. No other summoners were burnt, and both junglers there kind of hovering each other, shadowing, making sure that both mid laners are doing all right.
And we kind of got the hint of what V5 can do in terms of this 2v2. If any of Rookie's damage had been able to connect and Cryin didn't flash, I feel like in the early 2v2, V5 bring more bursts, they bring more lockdown to look for these kills. But still, good flash by Cryin. And topside still winning so heavily with the Realm Warp. Ultra Prime might get this again.
Realm Warp and the minion wave not quite there just yet, but they don't even need it. Cryin will tank up 2 shots. Absolutely perfect. And this goes back to exactly what you talked about earlier, Lyric. Rich is being targeted, and Rich is the weakest link.
And we got to see if V5 can look to answer on the bot side of the map, but Elk and Miaoniu have wards available. Ultra Prime just winning out everywhere. Sure, Cryine's going to lose a wave in mid, but it doesn't really amount to anything. And look at the minimap. Even the amount of vision that Ultra Prime are being able to keep up is quite nice. V5 have at least been able to match that in their own regard. But when you're the team falling behind, that vision's not gonna mean too much, because Ultra Prime should be able to just clear it out.
Well, that's the big thing. Like, yes, amazing V5 vision on the top side of the map. That would be awesome if you were trying to dive the Ornn and do exactly what Ultra Prime did to Rich. That would be awesome because you have full information. You've no doubt where anyone is or what's going to be happening in that particular skirmish. But when you're trying to hard force bot side, you don't really have the vision. You don't really have the priority. It's just not quite working out. And this is, again, the similar issues that we've been seeing from V5 in the last few weeks, and it is a very tentatively kind of uncertain time for this roster, for this team, because yes, they are still 11-3, they are still looking very good at top of our standings, but losing momentum this late on, it's almost like the LNG effect from last split and even last year, where they go almost sudden amazing and start to lose momentum towards the end. That's not really what you want to be doing, considering the playoffs are quite literally around the corner.
Yeah, this is a weird one, right? Because I think there's an argument to be made that it's better they hit this wall now than in playoffs, right? Because that's what we saw them happen in spring. Once we got into playoffs is when V5 really started struggling. Teams had kind of figured them out and were able to play around their aggressive early pick strategy very well. But still, this can snowball very fast into, again, momentum being lost, fights within the team, just not being able to figure out your weaknesses in time before a best of 5 comes down through. So we'll see how V5 decide to figure it out. Obviously, on 1K gold behind, they're still not, it's not all doom and gloom. But now we need to see Rookie with the Weaver's Wall, if they can find some impact, because Cryin still doesn't have his Realm Warp back up.
No, not quite yet. So the skirting around the vision almost perfectly there as Hacker as he gets himself right on top of the Rift Herald, though it should be spotted out now by Rich, who kind of smells something. He got a boar, a hunting boar, if you will, and now Rich actually going for a roam, and I don't know if he actually saw Hacker. Now he's going to realize it there. I think he's actually just going to see if he can maybe make something work into that mid lane. Like you said, the burst damage available to the Taliyah is good, but V5, they're just not in position. The resets came in on bot side. Xiaolong Bao had already reset as well. That's a free objective 8.5 minutes into the game. I'm not saying that V5 are looking bad, but I'm saying Ultra Prime are looking good.
Ultra Prime are doing a great job of taking advantage of, just V5 not being in a position to capitalize, not being in a position to answer what's going on the top half of the map. I mean, you said it, Xiaolong Bao's reset coming in at the same time as when Hacker's starting up this Herald, not able to get deep vision down the enemy jungle, not able to start up a dragon, not getting anything. Looks like they're trying to find something around mid right now.
No flash.
And ppgod has ult.
Yeah, ppgod has ult. Cryin to be exhausted. They flashed it on top of him from the flick back. Rookie gets a kill, and if you want to get anyone with resources, it's definitely going to be him. Trade of ultimates on the top side of Zoom, immediately and correctly going and saying, look, no one's top side. I can take this 1v1.
I also got to say, Sheen, I was wrong and blind. ppgod did not have ult until after the play came through. But you know what? In my heart, Xiaolong Bao running in by himself, well, I guess not by himself, he's ppgod on it, but running in as a Xin Zhao, he's as strong as a Yuumi ultimate. I'm going to stop talking before I dig myself deeper into this hole.
Here, have a shovel. Keep going, man. Dig up, stupid. That's how you get out. Like, but yeah, you're coming back in, man. I see Xiaolong Bao without his flash, but does have his ult, and now Rookie with the Weaver's Wall might try and just cut off Miaoniu. That should be the target here. Yep, that was exactly it. As Elk. Interesting interaction because he tried to dash over the ground that obviously Rookie had put down. He couldn't get over the wall and got stuck between it.
Not able to go with that dash. And V5 hoping to run them down. Shouldn't be able to. Ultra Prime showing the respect, but at least getting denied the wave. won't be able to walk up. And now not having those summoners, you know they can look for the rinse and repeat. But this sets up for Ultra Prime to make plays elsewhere. We see the Herald dropped in mid. Only one plate left, so Up can very easily look to recapitalize on this, especially if they're able to get that second Herald. With Zoom winning in topside, should be something they're looking towards.
And I mean, this is a very interesting... Oh, I'm going to stop myself here. So we're going to have a Crescent Guard that may be available here. But the final chapter means that Miaoniu has a final second of life before he gets sent to the Great Screen. But now the Realm Warp's coming in. Elk trying to use his ramped up auto attacks to make something work here. They're not really in a position to flash Rune Prison. And that means that's a bit of a waste there for the side of Ultra Prime. V5 finally waking up in this game and coming a little bit of life.
Victory 5 spent so long around that bot side to make sure that Elk and Miaoniu couldn't walk up. I mean, Shallenbell was able to get the Gromp as well, I believe, but overall just waiting there, trying to find that opportunity to punish once they got the Summoner Soul. So great job coming out from V5 and Up. I mean, they did have a good response, right? They dropped Herald in mid, they got it down to one play, but not able to do anything else since they had to respond to bot side.
Yeah, it does feel like V5 were done losing on the top side. And I was actually going to make a point that it was interesting how you said, like, you know, the top side skirmishing for V5 was a little bit stronger. You have all that kind of thing. It's kind of been the opposite of the way, because of the way the start of the game went. Yes, they technically would have had to be an even game state up to level 6, but because Rich has just been hemorrhaging gold on that top side and priority, they had to change up the game plan. This is good adaptation coming out from V5 as well. Kind of saying, look, we know we're not going to have priority top. We know we're a little bit behind on the item spike, so we're just going to try and move our position and our priority down towards that bot side.
And it makes sense to just double down on it even more now that we see Kraken Slayer coming out from Photic. So incredibly strong, much stronger than Elk would be in any skirmish right now. But once again, we're kind of in a state where V5 losing out on another neutral objective, not having any vision of it going down. You look at the minimap, wards littered for Ultra Prime throughout the river to where V5 still having that ward that they got placed very early on around Ultra Prime's red buff, but no real information beyond that.
All right, 2 minutes next until the next real neutral objective. Like you mentioned, the Kraken Slayer finish up. I would imagine we will have first items for pretty much everyone else across the board as well. Come that, what's the play here for both these teams? Where are you looking to prioritize, and where are you looking to try to extend either of your advantages?
I think for V5, they should be the ones having first initiative on making a play, because Rookie has Weave as well. Once again, Cryin still not having that ulti. And you can look to rinse and repeat bot side, because you know those flashes still shouldn't be up. And for Ultra Prime, I feel like it's a lot about covering down towards that half of the map. We can already see Cryin leaning down here right now. You know Photic and ppgod are going to be pushing in, and your top side's already fine. So for Ultra Prime, cover your bot lane. For V5, look to make use of this Weaver's Wall and keep snowballing Photic.
So what they have to make work with is I set up a question there for you about what they wanted to do, even though you just literally said that V5 should double down on bot side. So, you know, sometimes active listening is required, Jordan. Sometimes it's needed in order for the synergy of the cast
you asked
to
me.
work out.
You asked me what they wanted to do.
That's,
I said
that's my
use
point.
Weaver's Wall, go bot.
But that's what I'm saying. I said what I wanted to do, but you had already said that. I'm just saying, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, you had already basically said that, and I asked you to reword it, basically, going into it. But,
Well, no, you're giving yourself not enough credit. I like that you ask things like 2 or 3 times, because then it makes me feel like you care about my feelings, Rashid, and I love that. I respect that.
Respect. And also just, you know, I have to kind of put down, stop myself here and this little bromance we got going on for ourselves. But Photic gonna recognize that Hacker is there, and Hacker gonna recognize he's on a ward. But you know, sometimes I like to think that, you know, much like Twitch itself, I don't listen. You know, I want to make sure that I am 100% on the right path with whatever.
Are you throwing shade at our viewers?
I would never. We have only the finest of viewers. Only real OGs are watching this game right now. That's all I know for sure. As we're gonna come back. We're gonna move away from this topic very swiftly.
Wait. Actually, no. I can
on.
tell you what game real OGs are watching. We're gonna pull up the schedule. We're gonna look at week 10.
Is it Monday? Is it
No.
BLG or WE?
It's probably. Oh, well, actually, no. That one's a good one as well. Oh wait, actually, it's the last day. It's Ultra Prime WE, which is gonna be mean Hysterics, but it's gonna be the day of the Golden Ricks. So you know what? It actually is worth watching.
Oh, I'm glad you guys are still doing that. Golden Ricks is always a fun segment. If you don't know what the Golden Ricks is, check out next Sunday. Week from today. You'll be able to see it. But we're going to see a fight maybe back, you know. Oh, an engage comes out. There's the Ornn coming out as the Crescent Guard is used to fully disengage. Elk has actually been the front line in this particular fight as he loses about half his health bar. But that's 3 ultimates for very little gains. And Rich is kind of saying, cool, on PvE bot side.
I mean, they got Rookie's flash, which is important. Rookie having an instant spellbook, you can already see now, just swapped over to the Ghost, so we'll still be able to have some utility and some movement to be able to get out from there. And V5 just trading up with this turret on the bot side. And now for Rich, you can even start leaning over towards mid to allow V5 to set up for this Herald. And I don't know if they have the timer on it, but Zoom still not having teleport would be really hard for Ultra Prime to go for a contest.
I will say, though, that V5 are very aware that they haven't got full control around this pit just yet because, of course, that the Sejuani is in bot side. So they're waiting just a little bit. Zoom should have his teleport up very, very shortly. So sadly not able to capitalize on that window. But this is the push you were talking about, the Sivir. Why you pick this combination is that you just get priority. Level 9, Kraken Slayer, maybe even a couple of daggers in there as well. You're just going to be perma-pushing into a Zeri who's just exceptionally short range.
Yeah, not able to do anything off of it. V5 should be able to get this. I'm kind of sad that Rich didn't hover over. Felt like it could have given over an opportunity for Ultra Prime to look for it. They didn't have certain ults up, so it would still be unlikely of them to fight. But we're in the LPL. A lot of teams look for fights and skirmishes even when they shouldn't. V5 will get the objective in the end. And, I mean, they're positioned perfectly to use it to break open this mid lane turret. Dragon's coming up in 35 seconds as well, and could even lead them to getting that objective.
He can come back into reality. 2 items actually on the Ornn. Zoom's actually a very rich man. I didn't realize how rich he was, but he's definitely richer than rich. And richer than Richie Rich, which is an old, I think, like 1990s movie. Did you ever watch that? Macaulay Culkin?
Sounds right. Yeah. I can't remember what it's about, but I know I've seen it.
I'll give you a clue. He's very rich.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's that rich kid who, like, has to, like, figure out, I don't know, I can't remember, man. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I'm going to talk about the synopsis of Richie Rich later on, as we do have a TP coming in here from Rich. So Rich joins in to talk about our discussion of Richie Rich.
Here's what you do. So obviously they're dropping the Herald now, trying to set up for the Dragon, like we said. You just have to use the plot of the movie to break, to, like, explain this team fight is engaged. Not going to come through.
Not going to happen just yet, as we can see them now on top of the mountain that they have at the final scene of Richie Rich, and there it is. They're going to put down some Weaver's Wall. That's going to be the rocks you use, but they've already broken a hole in it there, and they're going to try to turn back onto the Wukong, who is dead. The Ornn will be good, but Xiaolongbao's got his crescent guard, so he's not taking any more damage. The Rune Prison onto Rich, not really the person you want to be going for right now, and V5 doing what V5 do best, run at you and just hands diff you.
And, I mean, even the setup was there, right? They had, like, a very clear game plan of what they were going to do. They were able to execute upon it with that Rift Herald. The resets were coming out nicely, and Ultra Prime with no real way to respond. So despite the fact that V5 giving up those early kills on top side and kind of struggling, bouncing back into the game, having a gold lead getting the Dragon, we'll see how this one goes down. Rookie uses the Weaver's Wall, tries to get them off, make sure they get it. And then with members like Hacker, members like Zoom, separate from the rest of the team, sets up for the seismic shove to come through, and V5 to be able to find the kill with Xiaolongbao.
Yeah, really well played there by V5. Not only did they get the Dragon and, of course, the kill, they actually cracked open the mid lane turret as well. So it is going to be traded back. So the gold actually not a million miles away right now. Ultra Prime still keeping toe. It has just felt like, as you mentioned, apart from that first few kills going in favor of Ultra Prime, the momentum has been shifted back in V5's favor. It feels like it's V5 dictating the pace, moving around the map with a lot more confidence, and just feeling like a lot more in control.
V5 now as well. I think doing a really good job of kind of keeping Xiaolongbao and Rookie synced up. That should be your kind of two-man death squad roaming around, looking for picks on sides if Cryin overextends, or even making your way over to mid. Then you can lean towards the bot side as a four-man unit and play for your Sejuani. Which, surprisingly, right, Rich has been able to catch up. Not behind in farm anymore. Even went for the more expensive mythic that we don't see all too often, Sunfire Aegis, so indexing into a bit more damage, a bit more power than what something like the Frostfire Gauntlet would give you. And gonna be interesting to see how it works. These team fights are very short range, right? So he's gonna be right in the middle of everyone kind of applying that damage.
Absolutely. I actually really like that you call out the short-range team fights, because you look at the AD carries and the mid laners right now. Like, there's like 500 range on Sivir, probably a little bit less, if not, you know, onto Zeri. I think maybe a little bit more. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Definitely around the 500 mark. Ryze is going to be very close as well. So, oh no, Hacker is going to get caught back, put down. Final chapter of his autobiography, and it just says death, and that's all he's got for him there. Double kill come out for Rookie, and this is why we such amazing high hopes for Rookie. The guy is just so damn good at creating those moments. 20 minutes on the dot, 2 people dead, get yourself a Baron.
Like, think, isn't this game crazy? We come in, Ultra Prime are dictating the pace of the game, and just out of nowhere, V5 out-macroing, out-maneuvering Ultra Prime, and should be able to set up for a Baron is Rich. Tries to find the engage.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Elk is putting down some significant damage, though. He's trying to turn this one back around. Elk, though, put himself over the wall, not really the position you want to be in. And yes, you did lose a lot of your health bar, but V5 are still on the Baron. Rawmorph going to be brought straight into the pit. He's going to put himself there. Cryin trying to see if he can make this one work. There's about 1,500 health on the Baron. It's going down. Oh, the smite was bad, but it does not matter. They were able to secure it at the end of it all. About down to about 100 HP. Hacker dashes forward, and Rookie, he's dancing with them right now, Lyric. Rookie is just keeping everybody at bay.
Rookie has been a standout for so long, showing it here once again why he is the guy we always look at for V5. I gotta give kudos to Cryin, goes in with the Realm Warp, tries to find the steal, almost gets it, because like you said, looked like the smite a little bit early from Xiaolongbao, but you know, we don't have to guess, as we're gonna get a replay of, okay, I don't know why we need to start this far.
They died.
Okay, we're going extremely far back for the replay. Yeah, I mean, a bit unfortunate, right? V5 have the cheeky brush play set up incredibly well, kind of abusing the Hex gates, right? I mean, they know it's a Hex rift, and knowing that members of Ultra Prime will look to use those to get on the map faster. So, nice cheekiness coming out from V5, and might even be able to find another one if Hacker isn't too careful.
Yeah, and I mean, Baron is so powerful for V5 as well. Very difficult, as you can see, for the side of Ultra Prime. As we mentioned, being very short range to clear these waves, the sieging power that this Baron will give you is actually just exceptional. And now Hacker, he's going to be thinking twice about taking those Hex gates again. Trying to see if he can burn down the spot wave, but it's just too big. There's just no way they can defend this. So all of a sudden, we only talked about it as a 1,000 gold lead. I'm going to stop myself right here, right now, because we're going to have a full fight coming in. They've already taken down Rookie. He's the biggest member right now. The Lulu will be sacrificed back on top of this. Look at Photic, though. Double kill coming in here for the Sivir, and he's just burning through them. They can't get on top of him. He's untouched, unafraid, and triple kill comes in. We talked about the Zeri getting pentakills earlier today, but this Sivir is just as good when left alone.
Photic running them down. They're going to be able to get more damage onto this turret as well. I don't think Hacker or Elk have the ability to stop them, so kudos to them for stopping this. I don't think they should be able to end it. Miaoniu coming up now. Cryin's only 10 seconds away. I gotta say, I would respect the oomph if they went for the end, but it would be really risky.
The oomph. I like that. I like that term. You know what? Is that the technical term for what you will be doing there? So I'm excited to read about its full definition. But yeah, 22 seconds till the next dragon spawns. It is a Hex Rift, like you mentioned, so we can see Hacker trying to see if he can go for something, but curious to see if he's going to find anything. Everyone should be going bot side, but let's have a look at this. Look at just Photic here. He's literally untouched with the Yuumi on top of him. No one goes anywhere near him.
Yeah, that's the key thing, right? You see Hacker try and find the knockup on the two members, one of them being Rookie. They find that kill, but Photic is left untouched the whole time. Everyone walks by him to start autoing people like Rookie or Xiaolongbao. No one even going on top of him. He has the Yuumi. He has he heals on top of it, on top of the speed from his on the HUD. So, yeah, that is rough when you're just letting a Sivir throw those ricochets, getting value out of the double bounce, out of all the shred it's providing. And it feels like now the gold lead might just be a little too steep. 6K gold on the side of V5.
It's important to know who that gold is on. 3, 0, and 5 for Photic. He's got 3 items. He's a full item ahead of his counterpart, and we're going to have a full final fight coming out here. Yep. There's not really a lot to be said about it. Yeah. Is it a fight, or is it just straight up a massacre? That's what you got to ask yourself. They won't have a minion wave, so they can't end the game just yet.
Ultra Prime are doing their best lyric impression from earlier, just seeing if they can dig themselves a little bit deeper into the hole.
Yeah, you got to give them the shovel, see what they can do with it. But we're going to see them now try and defend, but without your AD carry, these minion waves are going to become harder and harder. You're going to have Cryin on super minion duty on the bot side, and yeah, getting flicked back, getting most of his health bar taken out. This is not looking good for the side of Ultra Prime, but it is looking great for V5. They are just constantly getting the harass out, and this is so difficult to deal with. Zoom, how do you live from that, my friend? He'll go back, but my lord, is he going back with some bruises.
And, I mean, Ultra Prime is the squad now. 2 inhibitors down. That is going to hurt them tremendously. For V5, they can just group up towards his top side, utilize the pressure of double supers in other lanes, and very soon Ultra Prime are going to have double super minions piling in from all 3 lanes.
It's always that question. What do you do? How do you come back to this? How do you end up, bring this one back? Honestly, it's going to take a massive mistake, because even if hypothetically, in a perfect world, you get the engage, you kill off Photic, well done to you, you still have a Yuumi that can jump onto the likes of a Sejuani and a Taliyah that can just make them the carry. Yes, the Sivir is fantastic, but it's not the only option you have. So for Ultra Prime, 6,000 gold in the hole, they're starting to dig. They're starting to think there is no treasure right now. They've been digging for a while, and they're saying, hey, we might have been lied to here, Lyric. There ain't nothing here.
Here's what you do, Xin, as Ultra Prime. Maybe be careful, Hacker might die. As Ultra Prime right now, pull out one of your phones, order McDonald's delivery to the Victory 5 training facility, and bam, they got some food, it's at their door, they'll be distracted. I'm just saying, back in the day when I was a coach in the scrims, you know, like, fast loser, fast win to eat was one of the big motivators.
Was it literally just the guy like, all right, guys, we get these scrim blocks done, and we get KFC, and we're golden. Like,
you know, funnily enough, right? I was coaching Asia. It was still always KFC or McDonald's. It was still always one of those two every time.
Always KFC or McDonald's. It always is, no matter what else is there. But
Hacker!
We're going to see Hacker get on the backside here. You've got Photic. This could be a decent start now for the fight. You can see that Elk is just kind of running through these people. The Realm Warp just to bring minions as part of the team to make sure they can work it. But Elk got flicked back there by Rookie. Rich trying to move forward to get that damage down with that Sunfire Aegis. But look at the base. The picture-in-picture is showing you this. They did take down Rich, though, which means there's no teleport available. They should be able to get the resets out. They should be able to get people back into the base to survive. But honestly, you can see Ultra Prime, they're conflicted. They don't know if they need to go for the base or if they need to go for the Baron, because it's kind of their best opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lose-lose situation, right? There's no winning. If they stay, they lose the game. If they go back and clear out the minions, well, they're giving over Baron, and they'll probably still end up, you know, giving over the game. So I understand what they're looking for, trying to stay around the Baron, trying to get that flip right, because all you need is V5 to run it down a bit too hard or present the opportunity for Hacker to find a smite on Baron. And that's still not enough to bring Ultra Prime back in the game, but it would be enough to buy Ultra Prime another, let's say, 3 minutes. And in that 3 minutes, you're just hoping that V5 makes a mistake. So Ultra Prime, at this stage, are just playing for time. V5, though, playing with their food. Still, Hacker will look for the engage. Gets a bit of a knock-up, and they're able to bring down Photic with the damage coming out from Elk on the backside. Problem, though, is V5 still just so large. You look at the mini-map in this replay as well. It's dissuading Ultra Prime for wanting to continue running down members of V5. But hey, at least Ultra Prime able to get those 2 kills.
And the big thing as well, you lost in Nexus turret as well from that last play. So there's a ward, though, on this Baron at the moment. So Ultra Prime actually not aware that's going down. Didn't see the pink ward actually killing it off there. So you see now Rich looking to try and see if he can catch out Hacker, who does end up getting the decoy to tank up a lot of this damage. The Baron resets. I don't know if that's what V5 really wanted. V5 trying to see if they can force Ultra Prime to take the longer route. You have still got super minions in mid lane. Don't have them in bot lane anymore, but it's only a minute and a half until that inhibitor respawns, and you're relying on Rookie for these flickers. They're trying to play with Fog of War to see if they can catch someone out. In 15 seconds till Dragon spawns. I feel like V5 should be able to take that for free, but Ultra Prime, they're not going to be too unhappy with it because it's not sold just yet.
I feel like V5 were just too quick to pull the trigger. I mean, Rich pretty much throwing out a max range Sejuani ult, gave time for Hacker to have the clone tank up everything, right? Like kudos to Hacker. He didn't take any damage from that play, but for V5, when you're so strong, when they have to come closer because you're doing Baron, I feel like could have been a little bit more patient with the play. I get the fear is if they're coordinating, they're walking up as 5, you only have 3 over the pit. Like, that could be a little bit dicey, but should be pretty easy for both Xiaolongbao and Photic to join from around the pit. I mean, Xiaolongbao could literally just jump over the wall, W into E, and then Photic pop your ultimate. You get there very quickly, and then bam, that'd be a winning fight for V5. But taking it a bit slower, now on Soul Point. I'm curious if they'll look to go for the rebate before the next dragon comes up, or if they play it a bit more tempered.
I mean, you don't have any super minions now in mid. They're gone. They're officially no longer a thing. Yes, it's still 40 seconds till the inhibits responds, but in case you were not aware, between the last minute, of course, you do not get any more super minions, because by the time it would reach the actual inhibitor, it would just be ridiculous to try and defend that against 2 more waves. So you don't have that pressure point now available to you, and we're still waiting for a Elk. He could have had an Infinity Edge, but he's decided to go a slightly different route right now. Looks like he's gone half between the Last Whisper, or sorry, Lord Dominic's Regards, and half between an Infinity Edge, so he's not quite at either spike.
Yeah, and for V5, I mean, they're at critical mass. Even some members had stopwatches in inventory, which could make it a little bit more annoying for Ultra Prime to be able to find these fights. Luckily, though, I mean, even if he isn't necessarily on that spike just yet for Elk, we've seen his W's land, still able to do a tremendous amount of damage. Xiaolongbao gonna run zoom down.
Yeah, we're going to see Rich there. Ether W is Xiaolongbao still wanting to go into Zoom here. Not exactly the highest priority target that you want to be trying to maybe chase down here, but it's just, again, you saw the vision being highlighted by observers. It's just to make sure that Ultra Prime are just in the dark. There's nowhere they can really go without there being at least 3 or 4 members to try and back themselves up. Still 5,000 gold lead for V5, and they have 2 Hex Dragons ahead of Ultra Prime, so they are still feeling pretty good. Extra attack speed and extra ability haste. The Weaver's Wall comes out to secure the tier 2, but you still have an Ornn, so the Ornn's actually able to do it. This is a little disjointed, like you mentioned earlier about V5 pulling the trigger too early. They seem a bit antsy.
And, I mean, giving Ultra Prime more time when they have things like the ornaments coming through is nice flash from Photic.
Photic does flash to try and keep himself safe. Xiaolongbao almost goes down. There's the ultimate Sejuani, but it lands on the Zoom. Again, not a priority target, but look at Rookie just putting out the damage, and this is why this Taliyah is so good. Yes, you got so much out of Photic, but Rookie's still a monster. Rookie still needs to be respected.
And, I mean, the fact that the Cyclone couldn't land onto more members, right, get a few more knockups, kind of sucks for Ultra Prime. There are 2 big tools in that, in the Call of the Forge God not finding any value is Rookie. Still looking to play keep away, but needs to show some respect.
Hacker looking to try and see if he can get into the pit right now. He's not going to be in time, though. And that's Baron finally secured here by the side of V5. And there, we're coming up to 32 minutes in the game. We are starting to get that super late game. You have got the Lord Dominic's Regard already picked up now for the side of Ultra Prime's Elk, but also the ornaments are coming in. The upgraded items are starting to become very relevant. So that 5,000, 6,000 gold lead's not as big of a difference as it used to be.
No, I mean, right, we're getting the value from those ornaments. And even things like V5, their comp scales with their damage, right? Like both Taliyah and Sivir especially able to put out a tremendous amount of late game damage. The thing that I think Ultra Prime have going for them is, again, just the AoE abilities to lock people down. 2 huge ultimates for them. For V5, they do have ppgod's ultimate, but still, for Ultra Prime, keep buying more time. You'll be in a good spot. The problem for them, Dragon up in 1.5 minutes, Machine. Ultra Prime don't have any more time. Clock's running out. That'll not only give them soul, but that would put them all the way to 3 Drakes. And I mean, heck, now that Hex Tech gives 9% attack speed and 9 ability haste, I mean, that would be huge.
I mean, yeah, you're looking at 27 attack speed and 27 ability haste with 3 Dragon stack. Not even including, like you said, the soul. That is just an absurd amount of kiting and damage to come out. So we'll see what they want to go for. And like we've seen in the last few fights, Ultra Prime, they need to get on top of Photic. They need to try and kill him off with the Wukong. It's just very, very difficult to really make that one happen. Ultra Prime, they're happy to let this inhibitor go down, but Baron's still available for V5 now for the next 1.5 minutes. You got to see what they're able to kind of make work here as Hacker absorbs a lot of that damage, but he's been caught out and taken down. The Sunfire Aegis finally doing the damage we knew it could. Xiaolongbao just tanks up absolutely everything with that Crescent Guard, and it just feels like you mentioned earlier, we're at critical mass. You don't have the damage, you don't have the tanky stats. It's just a little bit too little, too late, and finally V5 will be able to take this game.
Yeah, V5 incredibly dominant once they got going. They've been in control of this game since the 10-minute mark. And Ashin, we started the day with you saying we need to see a statement win come out from V5 to get a bit of that confidence back. And it feels like this game 1 is definitely going in that trajectory.
Absolutely. It was a bit of a rough start for sure. The 2 kills on top side in favor of Ultra Prime definitely added a little bit of shakiness to that start of the game for V5, but slowly but surely we saw the likes of Photic, the likes of Rookie just having much more impact, much smarter play, and even just the way they were able to do it as well. Just having the knowledge and the ability to be able to say, cool, they're probably going to take the Hex Gates. We can use this to our advantage. Yes, it is a fantastic tool for the other team, but if they don't know that we're here, they're just going to walk straight into our trap, and we saw it do it multiple times.
And in my mind, that was one of the things that set V5 apart from the other top teams in spring was, like, they had a lot of, I'd say, clever plays. Not necessarily like, hey, we're going to, like, out-macro you here, out-rotate you here. They'd go for, like, these small brush plays or, like, path and wrap around and find picks in interesting ways that the enemy team just, like, you can expect, but it's very hard to try to play around these, like, small nuances of, like, well, what if V5's here? It's like, what are the chances, you know? But V5, at least still keeping that semblance of their play, even despite some of the issues, even despite, again, keeping Xiaolongbao now as seeming more of their main starter coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the the big thing again is, like you said, it's just a momentum. Trying to build that back for the side of V5. You have a massive series now, and I think it's next Tuesday. A random Tuesday, we just have V5 versus top esports coming up. And it is going to be a massive moment for them, because at the moment, yes, they're secured for top 4. No one can beat them out of that. But you need to be trying to go for top 2. You need to be putting pressure on these guys, because these are the guys you're going to most likely be facing. These are the guys you're going to be fighting for the championship. Yes, Worlds is the ultimate goal, but at the end of the day, you still have a summer split to win. That's what your goal should be.
And also something that I don't like to go on about too much, but even like the mental effect of it, right? I know if I was on a team and like if I'm top esports, I just lose to V5 going into playoffs, like that's going to give me more nerves facing V5 in that best of 5 when the time comes. So even just the mental edge over an opponent that you probably will have to face again, I think is incredibly good. But yeah. I mean, we said it right. We said it all leads back to ...
Yeah, all leads back to Rookie. Rookie is no longer a rookie. Has been playing since, I think, 2013, maybe 2014. Not quite sure when his full debut was, but yeah, man's a monster. Man has been exceptional.
2014 OGN days.
Yeah.
Machine.
That's what it was. The good old OGN.
Days.
Yeah, the good old OGN days. But yeah, it wasn't enough. I will say Zoom did exceptionally well in that top side. Honestly, I was just about to say how well he did. Makes sense that he did the most of his damage. As an Ornn, I'm not saying that... Okay, I'm not going to give credit to Zoom. I'm going to give flack to Elk and Cryin right there. That should never happen. You should never be being out-damaged by like 10% by an Ornn.
God. Like... That just makes you wonder what's going to happen when you go backstage for the team conversation, because you're right. That is something that is a little bit ridiculous, but hey... I don't know. We'll get to find out what happens. After you throw us to break, Ashid.
I'm going to throw us to break. Thank you so much, Lyric. We're going to send it to a break, Lyric. And when we come back, we're going to have picks bans for game number